questions?
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
شكرا جزيلا دكتورة أسماء، طرح جدا رائع حقيقة.
حبيبتي.
أنا أكلمك من أمريكا ففارق التوقيت صراحة، ومع ذلك حرصت بعد ما حضرت ترجمة القرآن للمحاضرة تبعك حرصت إني أحضر هذه المحاضرة لفائدة الطرح. أنا عندي سؤال دكتورة أسماء يتعلق بالمترجم. أحيانا يكون في حيرة من أمره، هل يكون مخلص وصادق للنص الأصلي الذي يترجم منه وينقل منه، خاصة ما يتعلق بالجوانب الثقافية، أم يكون مخلصا للغة الهدف التي يترجم إليها؟ على حسب المثال اللغة الإنجليزية هنا المترجم ما الابروتش اللي يتبعه، القرار الاختيار الميثود اللي يتبعه هنا. مثلا على سبيل المثال في بعض الروايات العربية أنا المترجمة من العربية إلى الإنجليزية مثلا أجد كلمة وصف الإنسان بالكلب وهو لفظ مهين يعني، لكن ينقل كما هو للغة الإنجليزية، وإحنا نعرف مثلا مكانة الكلب في ثقافة مثلا مثل الثقافة الأمريكية. يعني هنا هل المترجم يكون مخلص وينقل العبارة كما هي، وعلى المتلقي الآخر يعني يتلقى الثقافة ويبحث لما يوصف إنسان مثلا عربي آخر بكلب ما هي الدلالة المقصودة؟ هل يترجمها المترجم إلى مثلا الأغلي أنيمال، أو يختار تحديدا وصف الكلب؟ هنا كيف سيتلقى هل عملية التلقي هنا ستحدث نوعا من الإرباك أم ماذا؟ يعني قرار اتخاذ قرار للترجمة بأن تكون صادقة للنص الأصلي أم للنص الهدف، هذا محور السؤال هنا. شكرا جزيلا.
العفو حبيبتي، حياك الله. Thank you everyone. I have a lot of nice messages. Thank you very much. يعطيكم العافية. Thank you Marcus. Basically to answer this in a very, very short way, it depends on your where do you stand as a translator, and it depends on what you're translating for or who you're translating for. I will give you a very short example, and then I will go back to your example, which is al-kalb, the dog. Firstly, I was translating a text, a political article to an agency in the UK, because I worked as a freelance translator in the UK. And I translate because we have a common shared knowledge in Kuwait that Israelis will be translated automatically into a Sahayana. So I was still in that mind, and I translated Israelis into a Sahayana. That was totally frowned upon by the agency that I was translating to. They totally crossed it, and they translated it into Israelis. Here again, I was going within my knowledge, I was going within my beliefs, and that's how I translated it. But I was not aware of the culture, that this is not acceptable in the British culture. You cannot call them Zionists, you have to call them Israelis. And then again, you need to translate the text, like I said, within the purpose of it and the culture itself. For the example that you said, al-kalb, if we translate al-kalb into al-kalb, ikram al-sama', of course, into Arabic, a lot of people will see that, you know, like very simply, al-kalb in English, we can say dogs are more faithful than humans. And that's normal. Like it's understandable. It's okay, because in the American culture, dogs are really important. They're like part of the family. But in the Arab culture, if we say الكلب مثل العائلة, people are going to be like ليش? What do you mean? Are they bad? Like again, it's the cultural connotation. How do we understand it in the culture? في الثقافة العربية الكلب is not a good thing. It's an animal, but it's not a good thing. مثل شلون يكرم السامع again الحمار غبي. So we can say in Arabic أنت حمار. But if we translate it into English, we will say, are you dumb? So again, it's back to the approach you choose, and based on the purpose of the text and who are you translating to. And if you're translating for a media outlet, for an agency, you will always have something or someone at the back of your head correcting for you, editing and crossing things that they don't like to change it. So I will leave that to that. Again, it's up to the translator. It's up to the interpreter to choose the right approach based on the agency they are translating to, based on the culture, based on the purpose of the text, and so on. أتمنى أكون أجبت على السؤال. Please, Hajar, go ahead.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
يعطيكم ألف عافية.
الله يعافيك.
وشكرا على المحاضرة الجميلة.
حبيبتي حياك.
هي ما هو سؤال بس هي كمداخلة. لما تكلمنا عن ال inappropriate culturally words اللي هن مثل البوي فريند والجيرل فريند، ممكن ناخذها من القرآن الكريم اللي هي كلمة خدن أو أخدان. تحمل نفس المعنى، يعني هي إنه بمعنى صديق أو صاحب، وأكثر ما يستعمل الصداقة بين الرجل والمرأة.
صح.
فحبيت أضيف فقط إضافة في حال إنه حد حاب يستفيد منه.
يعطيك العافية. صحيح صحيح، يعطيك العافية. Someone is saying إذا تكرمتي حابة أتعلم ذاتيا ترجمة. I always advise people who want to learn translation to go into online courses, because now within Corona everyone have online courses, so you can just gladly go and join any online courses. Please go ahead and read. We have a lot of references, speaking of which I will go into the references in case someone needs them. This will be uploaded as well into SharePoint just in case someone needs it. You can read, you can practice. So again, it's up to you to learn by yourself. What's the difference between translation and interpreting? Translation is translating text, kitaba. Interpreting is orally, when you interpret صوتيا. We have sometimes I interpret the text by paraphrasing rather than literally. How far is this kind of it depends again on, of course you can, Reem. Can you please raise your hand so I can click on you, because there are a lot of participants, I can't find you. Yes, please go ahead. Just give me 1 second so I can answer this question. Yeah, okay. You can paraphrase. Again, it's how loyal you are to the text. If you have a press conference and you are asked to translate it into a news article, you can paraphrase it and just have a simple report for that, and that would be okay, because you cannot write a whole report in a newspaper. So again, it's up to you as a translator to see what's the best approach to use for the text. تفضلي.
Hello.
Hi.
First of all, thank you for telling us a lot of informations. And as a beginner in translation, I would like to ask you a question. We always have near synonyms, like Trump's example earlier, neglected and abandoned people. I see in my perspective, it's actually are the same perhaps. And I have another example. When I faced a sentence, there is a difference between events and incidents. Like events are, I don't know actually whether if it's a near synonyms or all have the same synonym, and I just translate it as one word. Should we translate them literal and each word, or just نكتفي بكلمة واحدة? Thank you.
يعطيك العافية. Thank you for a great question. شكرا غدير حبيبتي، يعطيك العافية. You're always there to support me. بالنسبة لسؤالك ريم, there are very important things when it comes to synonyms and near synonyms. It's not about understanding the language more than understanding the culture. And that's really important. Not only understanding the culture, but also understanding the context in which the speech happened in. So when we say المطر الغيث, obviously there are near synonyms, we have different things. But when we say synonyms, especially synonyms, we do have a lot of them, like تألمت وأسفت, for example, القذافي, or abandoned and neglected. we do not know, as translators who are not in the context, who are not in the country itself, we cannot be 100% sure that he means this or that. And here comes research and investigation and living actually in the culture itself to be able to come up with the best approach. A lot of people will simply say, well, I would simply say, you know what, it's one word, they are near synonyms or synonyms, I will simply translate it as المتجاهلون من الناس or الناس التي جهلناهم في المجتمع, for example. Someone would say, no, I will have to emphasize, because sometimes synonyms are used simply to emphasize, and that's it, not because they mean different things, but sometimes they actually do mean different things. So again, it comes back to understanding, and the approach you use is different. I myself as a translator, I can say, لا والله, I want to translate each word. Someone else would say, no والله, I don't think it's appropriate. I can just simply say the overall meaning. Why should I repeat myself? So again, it goes back to the translator themselves. How do they approach the text? What do they want to do it? How do they, want to do it? Lamia, there is no sah in translation. Of course, you cannot translate, sah into wrong, because that's obviously wrong. But when it comes to translation approach, there is no right or wrong. You can as a translator choose the right approach depending on the text, depending on the purpose. Because like I said, if I'm translating girlfriend into a Lebanese culture, I can simply say صديقتها, and that's totally okay. But into a Kuwaiti culture, people are going to be like شقارة خربط هذه عيب, and so on and so forth. So here again comes the culture itself. Here again comes the differences between me as a translator and this person as a translator and that person as a translator, and so on. It comes again to the differences between the purpose of the translation. And that's how I would like to actually respond to Rim's question. It's very complicated when it comes to synonyms. A lot of people would simply erase all the synonyms and just translate one, but a lot of people will actually investigate it. And language is very difficult. Language is very sophisticated. It'll always have different extra linguistic features beyond the word level, and we need to understand it in order for us to actually be able to translate it into the other language correctly. I hope I answered your question. We have, sorry, I'm just going to go up a little bit. We have ما هي الطريقة الأنسب للتحري عن المعاني كما اشتغل البناء الذي كان يهتم فيه القراءة المعرفة عامة بالتاريخ that's what I said. People in research, people as translators, we need to research. We need to understand. So the first thing I did when I saw the palace of Gaddafi was I called a Libyan friend. I was like, شنو هذا القصر اللي واقف قدامه? And they instantly said, this is the palace where this and this and that happened. So you are basically saying, you are basically investigating, you are researching. We have internet now. And the internet is gladly something that would help us in all the research, would help you linguistically, would help you know the language before and the culture before actually living in that culture. So use that into your advantage. And sometimes it's okay to make mistakes because it will be corrected. Thank you, Bashir. And then we have, if you post the previous lecture link, I'll be thankful since I have looking. Yes, link المحاضرة للقرآن الكريم is already there in Twitter and is already there in YouTube. You have just such a scale of each side, the best and the other. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you. If anyone have any other questions before I conclude, any other questions? يعطيكم العافية. Thank you, Asma. Inshallah, Badr, inshallah, we will have another lecture, but unfortunately, next week is the finals. I have a lot to correct in the finals because I'm an assistant professor of English, and that means a lot of essays. So I have to work on those essays and correcting those essays, inshallah, next week. And then we have Eid on Saturday or Sunday. Inshallah, after Eid, within 3 days, I promise you we will do another lecture, inshallah. شكرا هاجر, شكرا. I have my research online. You're welcome, Noura. There is a research online. These are the references. Inshallah, if you can access my Twitter, I will share links to articles. I have already shukran Iman Habibti. I already have a lot of articles written about this analysis in particular. If you want to have a look at it, it's already there in my Instagram account. And if you can check the references that I've listed, it's there already. You analyze it. Sorry, wait. How do I analyze? There is a question that says, how do I analyze the text from a cognitive and pragmatic approach? You can analyze it through these two approaches by understanding the meaning behind the words, because pragmatic has to do with the meaning beyond the word itself. So like I said, again, understanding the culture. For example, the word thawra that I give you an example of in Libyans means something differently than it means in other cultures. Also, Ayyam al-Inkisar in Mubarak's speech, it means something to the Egyptians rather than it means to us. Anyone in Kuwait or maybe in the Arab region would think Ayyam al-Inkisar, Ayyam Hazima Adiyya. However, in Egypt, it means the war that happened with Sina and the Israelis. So again, you need to understand, you have to have a theory and a model. And then you have to understand the culture and the words and the context it existed in. I'm based in Kuwait, so الدورات الخاصة بالترجمة I already announced about that with Abdulaziz Lemaushirji yesterday in our live Instagram. We will have a couple of Instagram workshops, inshallah, when Kuwait goes back to action, because everything is on lockdown now because of coronavirus. So inshallah, after coronavirus, we will announce 2 or 3 workshops in Kuwait. All the workshops are in Kuwait because I'm based in Kuwait. Inshallah, if I can do something international, I will do an announcement about that. But to keep up with the information, please follow my Twitter because I have all the information there. And you can send me an email. You can send me, I will share my email. You can send me an email to my personal account or an Instagram or a Twitter message. Okay, I have a couple of questions. Can we have resources sent to us, please? I can have, yes. I think I can actually send a file here. If anyone knows how I can send a file here, because I saw that a couple of days ago, but I don't know why it doesn't exist anymore. Maybe because we have a bigger room. I do share the presentations and the video recording online in Twitter, YouTube, everything. So don't worry, that will be sent to you, inshallah. Are these the only 3 approaches for discourse analysis? No. We have Christian Nord, we have Christina Schaffner, but mainly a lot of people, thank you for drawing a very nice thing. But we do have a very detailed critical discourse analysis. We have Van Duk, we have Christian Nord, we have Jeremy Monday, we have a lot of people, translation scholars, who actually tried to share their ideas of how to analyze the text. This is actually the model that I suggested, which includes critical discourse analysis along with other theories, because a lot of people say we can only use critical discourse analysis. But for me, I adopted the 3 theories to analyze different aspects of the text, not just one aspect, especially now with the globalization of using technology and multimodality. I thought that we need to actually understand different mediums like hyperlinks and pictures and videos and how it affects the text. And that's why I figured we need to add it and adopt it within translation studies. And I'm actually very proud to say that I'm the first person to integrate multimodality in translation studies.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. هلا.
يعطيك العافية دكتورة أسماء.
الله يعافيك.
My question is, how can I immerse myself with the culture? Because I'm studying the translation in Saudi Arabia. I think I don't have enough knowledge about the English language culture or American people. So how can I immerse myself with this culture if I'm in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, that's a good question because you're welcome, Habibti. Because a lot of the times, okay, I'll give me 1 minute, Malak. It says right in the chat. I'm right clicking in the chat. There is no, unfortunately, there is no send a file thing. I don't know why. Okay, here we go. Yes, here we go. Let me just send you this so I can make sure that you guys have it. And then inshallah, I will, here we go. This is the file. Okay, here's the file, okay? Now, to answer your question, I cannot send it. I don't know why it says I cannot send it. It's okay, I promise I'll send it to you. To answer your question, Balak, you can be aware of the culture by investigating it. The reason how, the way how you investigate it is basically by going online and searching everything that you can search. For example, you can go into forums, you can search other people's discourse, you can investigate the person's background and their ideas and how they think. When I did my research about al-Qaddafi, I investigated everything related to al-Qaddafi. And now I'm very much aware of the Libyan culture, but I've never been to Libya. I have never been to Libya. Everything I know is from online and from people around me. If you know someone who is American, then you can ask them, what do you think Trump means? If you know someone who's Libyan, you can say, what do you think Gaddafi means? Or you can simply check their background. You can simply read all the research that is available to you online, and then you will get the idea of their thinking. Then you will understand what they say. And that's what happened with a lot of interpreters. When they translate for someone or interpret for someone, then they anticipate what they want to say because of their awareness about that person and how they know them very well. So again, try to research, do your research all the time. Try and worry about it, investigate it more, ask the people, and get engaged in the culture, as in watch documentaries and so on. And documentaries are really important because you will see that person and what they mean and what they want and how they feel and how they actually speak. And then you will get to the idea of it. And then if you feel like there is a word that actually was repeated, there was a word that you think is important, check that word and Google it within that context. For example, الثورة في الثقافة الليبية, and then you will see people actually discussing this. You will see articles discussing this, and basically that's how I think people get aware of the culture without having to go into that culture. This theory, which basically gathers critical discourse analysis, multimodality, and Baker's narrativity, is called multimodal analysis, and it's in one of the articles that I share, and in the articles are there in Google if you want to have a look at them. Just search my name and search multimodality and you will find it. It's available in PDF, and I will share it as well inshallah in Twitter. We have, you're welcome, you're very much welcome. Sometimes there is a question that says, should accent worry me as a translator? I don't have a great one that makes me kind of scared. If you are a translator, you're translating text على ورق, الترجمة التحريرية على الكتابة, you do not have to worry about that. But as a translator, we always say translate into the language that you're best at. For example, my English is better than my Arabic, so I always translate Arabic text into English. But if there was a need to do it the other way around, I will be able to do it. But you always translate into your comfort zone, but doesn't mean that you cannot get out of your comfort zone. When it comes to interpreting, الترجمة الفورية أو الترجمة الصوتية, you need to have not a good accent as in an American or British accent. You need to have a clear accent. You need to pronounce letters in a way that people would actually understand you, so they can actually understand the meaning. How can we apply these approaches on film titles? Film titles are different. They have a different approach. It also have to do with the knowledge of the film and how do you want to promote it, because we know that films are there to be promoted. So you need to apply it in a way to still promote it and still carry the same meaning. And it's a title for something, so you cannot really change it. So you have to stick to the originality of the text, of the source text. You have to be as promotive as it is in the original text. Thank you, Badr. Yes, that's the link. Thank you very much. Do we have any more questions? I honestly tried to share the PowerPoint presentation, but for some reason it says disconnected. I don't know why. I will share it in YouTube and as well as in Twitter. Do we have any questions? You're welcome, Bender. Thank you very much for attending. Any other questions, discussion? Anyone wants to say anything before I conclude? بالعافية حسين. يعطيكم العافية. شكرا لكم. شكرا لحضوركم. It was an honor to actually lecture everyone around the globe. It's amazing. I'm so happy that we have people from the States. We have people from Saudi Arabia. We have people from the UK. I don't know if we have people from other part of the world, but I'm pretty sure that we have people from these areas, and I'm glad to reconnect everyone in one place. يعطيكم العافية. Thank you for being here. Inshallah, Faiza, I will do more. I will announce that in my Twitter, but not next week, because this week is final week. So inshallah the week after. So probably after Eid. Allah يعطيكم العافية. حبيبتي ملاك شرفتينا. Please stay safe, and hopefully this was beneficial. Thank you, everyone. يعطيكم العافية. And any more questions, any more comments, I'll be gladly taking them through my email or my Instagram or my Twitter. Shukran, يعطيكم العافية. Thank you very much. I will see you inshallah in other lecture. يعطيكم العافية.